Okay, so let's get the party started. The first keynote today is actually going to be a shared keynote by the Ceph Foundation Board. So I would like to welcome all the Foundation Board members to stage, starting with Matthew, Head of Storage Engineering from Bloomberg.
Thank you.
Welcome. Then Joachim, founder and CEO of Clyso. We have Wout, CTO, 42 on. Josh, senior manager at IBM. And Neha, senior development manager at IBM. Dan, CTO, Clyso. Brett, 45 Drives. Vincent, Vice President and CTO of IBM Storage. And myself, as far as the associate members are concerned. Thank you. I can stand.
I can stand too.
But I have no seat.
Neither do I.
Okay, we'll stand. I will sit
we'll
down
stand.
there. That's okay. Oh, amazing. You see, CERN people fix things.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. So we are the members of the Ceph Foundation Governing Board. So as was kind of talked about yesterday, the Ceph project kind of falls into two categories. There's the technical side of the house, that's the technical project. That is the rebranded Ceph Steering Committee, I think, not the CLT now. And then on the other side of the house, you have the foundation and the governing board of the foundation. The foundation is where the sponsors go, they pool their money together, and we try to share our resources to help the project. So this group here is the group of the foundation that is the governing board. And we wanted to take some time today to talk to you guys about what's going on at the board level, some of the changes that we've instituted in the last couple months, and what 2025 is going to look for us, and what we kind of hope that we could get out of you guys to continue to push the Ceph project forward. All right, cool. So what is the goal of the foundation? The goal of the foundation is to just support the community, support the project, and provide insight into market trends, opportunities, strengths, and threats and weaknesses. So basically our job is to kind of sit up at the high level outside of the technical and just try to keep an eye on where things are going, where the project maybe should go, who are our competitors, what's our market share, stuff like that. What the goal of the board is we provide fiduciary oversight to the budget, so there is real dollars and cents involved here. It's kind of our job to approve budgets and make sure that the money is being spent as best it can. There's a limited set of money, there's a limited set of volunteer hours to put into this. We want to make sure that we're using both those resources as best as possible. We need to help organize work and ensure it gets done. The members of the Ceph Steering Committee or the Executive Council did a lot of work to get Cephlicon off the ground again this year, so please a round of applause for them. That was a lot of time and energy. And also another thing that we like to do is, this is the board, the foundation is a little bit larger, there's some other players, but we look to grow and get more people in the foundation. More people in the foundation means more money coming into the project, it means more committers, it means a more distributed ecosystem of committers, and everybody wins. So some of the things that we did this year, some of this is just kind of boring, I'm not going to read every bullet point of our legalese here, but we basically revised our charter, which is our founding document that kind of governs how the board is meant to operate, what we're meant to do, the rules of the road. And basically, what we've looked at is how things are working in the past, where we need to go in the future, and made some minor tweaks to ensure that everything kind of stays fair. So instead of appointing particular members, allowing them to be elected, clarifying some vague language from the past. So nothing super crazy. We don't need to read through this. What I really wanted to talk about was our investment priorities, right? So as I mentioned, the board has we have two things, right? We have a little bit of money, we have a little bit of time, right? That's it. And we need to make sure that we are spending that money and that time as wisely as possible. So the group you see on the stage here, we spent probably more time than anyone would like to together, kind of trying to hash out what the priorities for 2025 would be. There's a lot of very good discussions back and forth, wrangling through budgets over and over and over again until we actually could make it all work. And this, what you see on the screen, is basically what the priorities for the board are for 2025. This is where the board is going to focus their monetary investment and where the board is going to focus their time investment. So we are going to try to do more marketing at the foundation level. I know that a lot of the downstream providers do some marketing themselves, which is awesome, but we want to do some upstream open source marketing for the project as well. We want to do some market research. As we spoke before, one of the things that the board would like to do is to try to provide just general insight into the health of the entire ecosystem. Who are the competitors? Where is the industry going? How does Ceph continue to fit into that, right? So just doing some general market research and throwing that out there for the community to look at and do what you will with it. CEPHlicon has been the annual conference for as long as we've been involved with the project. We would like to continue to do CEPHlicon as well as continue to try and get more and more Ceph events locally. I think Dan yesterday mentioned the Ceph Traveling Roadshow, like one event somewhere in the world every month. Aspirationally, we would like to try and get back to that, but we're going to see what we can do. We also want to invest a little bit more of our time and money from the foundation back into the technical community and organize hackathons and getting the developer community a little bit more engaged with the board. We want to do marketing working groups so we can come up with more better marketing strategies. We are going to continue to invest in our technical writers. The documentation has seen a lot of love over the years, and that's usually the first thing that people new to the project see is the documentation, right? I think Zach was mentioning that the beginner's guide is live yesterday. So we're going to continue to invest in technical writers. One of the things that the board has noticed is that there is never growing amount of work and there's not enough volunteer hours from us to get it all done. And there was previously a role in the past called the community manager. We are looking to invest in getting another community manager. This is somebody who will be a dedicated resource for the foundation and the project to help make sure that all of this stuff gets done. We are going to continue in hosting, right? So this is the upstream lab. So we'll be looking at getting new hardware for the upstream lab, driving our hosting costs down, getting a little bit leaner and meaner with the gear, and trying to de-risk the upstream project to make sure that we have availability to build Ceph no matter what happens, right? We don't want a single lab going down, taking down our ability to build the project. Oh, sorry, I said program management. Talked about the community manager. Program management, we have assistance from the Linux Foundation to help try and keep us all organized. They help run the meetings, take the notes, and whatnot. So this is our priorities for 2025. And we have kind of a new organizational plan for the board. That's kind of the real reason that we wanted to talk to you guys. Is in the past, a lot of this knowledge has kind of been tribal, which makes sense for an open source project, right? The doers are the people that understand the knowledge, they understand what's going on, but that creates a bit of a risk to the project, which is if those people move on to other projects, they move on to other things, that silo of knowledge disappears. The goal of the board is through those priorities, we intend to create committees, long-lived committees that will be chaired by a member of the board that are responsible for creating mission and vision statements, coming up with the tactical issues that need to be addressed for the project today, strategic visions, and also try to quantify KPIs and ROI. As I keep mentioning, we have a very, very small budget, right? And we want to make sure that every dollar we put into something, we are getting good return on investment for the project. It's really pushing the project forward. Where you guys come into it is we need to raise an army of volunteers from the community, right? None of these things is going to be easy and quick to do. One of the things I just mentioned was we want to harden our upstream lab and our upstream building capabilities. A lot of the people up here, except for the steering committee, aren't super hands-on with the project. Well, Joachim and Wout might be, but we don't know the nuts and bolts of everything. We know it's a priority, we know it's a risk, we want to get involved, but we need the people who actually do the work to come talk to us and tell us, is this enough money? Is this plan going to work? If we walk down this road together, are you committing to doing this work to, bring a different cloud provider on, bring a new hardware lab online, right? So we need you guys to come meet us and be part of these committees to ensure that the technical side of the project is working hand in glove with the foundation to make sure that our initiatives actually get completed. So the strategy and the vision lives. The goal is that with these documents and this plan is that the project vision from the board outlives the individual board members, right? As the boards turn over, as chairs come and go, it doesn't upset the balance. And the goal is to build a self-surviving board and foundation that has long-lived documentation, long-lived plans, strategy, so that the people become kind of fungible who are chairing it, facilitating it, helping it get organized, but this becomes the documentation that speaks for itself. So this will also hopefully foster a stronger relationship between the foundation and the technical community, reduce the feedback loop of where you guys see the issues, where you guys see the risk, where you want to see us invest time and money, and our ability to then do that. So this is projected right now. We were changing this as of yesterday because we're still kind of duking it out on who's going to do what. So the reason that we're all up here is this is a large geo-distributed community. We don't know all of you. You probably don't know all of us. So it's to try to help put names to faces. So if you are interested in volunteering your time to work on one of these committees in an area that speaks to you, you'll roughly know who is the right person to reach out to. So for market research and marketing, Vincent from IBM has said he wanted to chair that committee. Vincent, if you want to say hi or raise your hand. All right. Foundation outreach. This one I think is still up in the air because we volunteered Dan while he was out of the room. But if anyone doesn't know Dan, do you want to say hi? Yeah. Good outreach. For Cephalicon events, or Cephalicon and events, Stephen, I cannot pronounce his last name, is not here from OS Nexus, but he was very keen in this. So if you're interested in getting more involved with hosting a Ceph Day, sponsoring a Ceph Day, sponsoring a Cephalicon, helping do some of the legwork to make these events happen, Steve's your guy. Steve is also, you can tell he was not in the room when we did this, so his name's down twice. Steve also has a great interest in the upstream lab, the hosting and the hardware and what it takes to kind of de-risk that, modernize some of the gear. I think last check, some of that gear was over a decade old, so it's time for it to ride off into the sunset. So Steve will be doing that. The documentation has come a long way, and it's very important, and we want to continue to look into that. So Wout is going to be chairing the technical writing committee. How do we ensure that the documentation still continues to stay in a good spot? I know Zach and his team do a lot of good work to make sure it's very usable, very understandable, but I think there's still some work on the technical side to make sure it is still technically correct. So Wout is going to be looking at that. Community engagement and the ambassador program. So as I stated before, the foundation really wants to try and give some of our time and resources to fostering the community. So the ambassador program, hackathons, potentially reaching out to secondary and post-secondary institutions. Neha has volunteered to run that. And then the community manager. So this is going to be a person who's going to help the board get stuff done. I volunteered to kind of take on owning that piece. So the goal is, and unfortunately we weren't able to get this stood up, is to use GitHub, ideally in the project itself, to create these documents, to create this mission, vision, and strategy. That way it's open to everybody. Everybody can see it. Everybody should see it. Everybody should be able to commit to it and understand where we're going. Ideally, we will be pushing some more of this information out to you as we get this off the ground. And another goal is to try and have the first draft of the mission and vision statement for a lot of these things done early in January, because as a board, we really want to try and get this going. And the only way that this is really going to work is if you guys come help us get this rolling as well. Some of the short-term goals, just for 2025, right? Like we project the Ceph project is going to live forever and ever and ever, but we need to have some short-term goals for ourselves. So we want to define a mission and vision statement for the board itself, right? So part of growing the board means we need to be able to convince other people to join the foundation. Part of convincing other people of joining the foundation is telling them why they should join the foundation, right? Not Ceph's cool, come work with us. That works for us. That doesn't work for everybody. We're going to use the committee chairs to build out the foundation's roadmap, kind of as I was talking about there. We want to use that roadmap that all the committee chairs are going to build to become kind of a prospectus to go out to all of those kind of silent Ceph users that a lot of the other keynotes have talked about, and try and use that as a way to get them interested in getting engaged with the project, right? Will you donate time? Will you donate money? Will you donate developers, right? It's something tangible that they can hold and feel and read in their hands and understand why it's important to be part of this, why that without the foundation, the project is a little bit riskier because it doesn't have this kind of support higher up. And the overall goal, which I'm sure doesn't need to be stated, it's everybody in this room's goal, this is why we're here, just expand the participation at the project at every level. So, I'm done chatting for now. Everybody is here. This was kind of meant to be, I don't know how much time we have, to be honest. Oh, perfect. So, we got lots of time. We will now be entertaining questions. If anyone has any questions for any of the individual board members or the board itself, now's a great time to ask them. Oh, there are mics. Oh, perfect. Yeah, they're stood up there. Don't everyone all raise your hand at once. Cool. All right. Well, I guess no questions means, I believe, unless you guys have a... Yeah. Less of a question, more of a statement. Thank you for the cheerleading. If there are no actual questions for the board or anything like that, then we thank you for listening to us today. And please, I'm pretty sure these slides are available.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. So these slides are available. They have the names of the people to reach out to. And again, I really hope that all of you guys, if there is something that the board is doing that really speaks to you, and you feel that you have a couple hours or some good ideas or could volunteer your time, this is the only thing that's really going to make this work, right? There's only N number of us up here. I can't count this morning. But we can't do all of this ourselves while still having full-time jobs similar to you guys, right? The only way that this is truly going to work is if we all come together, pool our resources together, and get this stuff over the line, and it benefits everybody in the project. So thank you very much for your time.